This is Bob Anderson from Factory Direct Modulars, and this is probably the most important video that I will ever put on my YouTube channel. Because I see some challenges coming ahead for some organizations, and I already see the signs of it failing. And in the process of doing that, there are people that get hurt. And so I want to just quickly step back, do a little background again on myself. I've said this several times, but I want to put some foundation to this. So I think I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. I used to work for Oakwood. Matter of fact, I started working there on January 31st, 1996. It was a Tuesday. You can go look it up. Anyways, I was at the time, I had a CPA license, and I worked in their financing arm of Oakwood, where we lent money for people to buy houses. Anyways, part of my job was the risk management side of it, and pooling the loans and selling them on Wall Street so we could replenish our cash and keep running the business. So that was my main focus. Anyways, long story short, I had been there for a little over 2 years or so, and I could see the writing on the wall that we were making some bad decisions going forward about our processes and whatnot, and I brought it to the attention of executive management. So at the time that I did that, I was rebuffed by a couple of other CPAs. Little background: I worked for a company called Deloitte and Touche, and these other CPAs worked for a company called Price Waterhouse. Anyways, I got rebuffed on that, and my immediate boss actually believed in my theory more than maybe the executive management, because I was one pointing out some issues that we were about ready to face. So I was able to bring some consultants in from California. This is a long story, I get it. But they came in, told the same thing, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, they continued to listen to their Price Waterhouse people because they were easier to listen to than me. And I ended up resigning because I knew that organization was not going to make it. And 2 years plus later, they filed bankruptcy. And now Warren Buffett owns them. And it was all because the things that I told them that were coming down the pipeline happened. So let me fast forward that to about a year ago or so. I have very close relationships with several lenders. Because of that, they have really helped me grow this business to where it is today by doing some things to help me finance my business, get it off the ground. Anyways, in the process of communicating with one of them, about a year ago, like March. So quite a while ago, year and a half ago. So they were asking me, one of them was asking me, hey, we're having a problem with one of our builders. This is what he's telling us. Is this standard in the market, or is he just crying wolf? And so I went over the scenario with him. It was a big site-built builder in North Carolina. And I had them, I said, delve into this, delve into that, delve into this. And my consulting mind came back. Anyways, they did and came back to me with some answers, and I said, well, I'm going to tell you right now, that builder doesn't have the money to run their business. And let me tell you something, the phone got silent. because this is a builder that was building, $500,000+ houses. This was a builder that was building twice as many houses as I was. And like I said, there became silence on the phone because I think they wanted me to give them the simple answer, not the hey, you got a problem and it's going to turn into a shitstorm. Fast forward a year later, the builder filed bankruptcy, just like I predicted, and the bankruptcy courts are going through their records right now and have figured out that they have over 50 of these $500,000 houses in construction throughout central and eastern North Carolina. And they were robbing Peter to pay Paul and basically taking draws from lenders as much as they could, project by project, and then turning around and not paying the contractors for the work, which then ties up that property into some liens. So they just kind of stop working on that one. And then they go to the next one. I mean, if you're talking about 50 houses, for example, a lot of these lenders will do like a 10% draw up front when you close. Well, if you're talking about a $500,000 house, that's 50 grand. That alone off 50 houses is millions of dollars. So, long story short, this builder filed bankruptcy. This builder ran off with the freaking money. And these consumers are stuck with houses framed in some cases. Some cases, there's just foundations. This is a very sad story. So, why do I bring this up? I bring this up for two reasons. Number one is recently, because interest rates have been going crazy, as we all know, because we have such solid leadership in Washington, D.C. We now have I now have an influx of consumers coming to me that are paying cash, and I met another one on Friday paying cash for a house, and it was a referral from two other previous customers. One of which paid cash and the other one didn't pay cash. So I got a referral of two other customers, somebody who wants to pay cash for a house, blah, blah, blah. And while I'm sitting there talking to this person, it started to dawn on me that I needed to do this video for everybody out there. Okay, so hold on, let me get to the point. There are builders out there right now. One in particular that I know of who's a large competitor, you could say, of mine in North Carolina, that I have contractors that have been having a hard time getting my projects done. And so delving into it and beating on one of these contractors, it came to my attention that this competitor of mine was not paying this contractor for work performed. I specifically know where some of the projects are. I'm actually building a house down the road from one of the projects right now. And when you do that to a small business owner who's, doing, say, plumbing or heating and air or foundations or clearing or whatever, when you do that to one of them, you could really send their business in a tailspin. You can literally put them right out of business. So what I've had to do is step up to the plate and pay for the materials on these projects, just to get him moving forward. And then we're walking him through the process of how to get liens placed on all these properties, because we're not talking about a little bit of money that's owed to them. We're talking over $40,000. Take a small business owner with a couple guys working for him and steal $40,000 from them and see what happens. Okay, so I bring this up because one of the other things that a lot of times happens is a consumer, like, for example, I have 6 or 7 cash buyers right now that they don't even realize it. But I treat them as if the money was coming from a bank. My competitors, not so much. And so what I mean by that is I set up a draw schedule of them paying me. Now, some of my competitors are like, oh, well, we can't start your project till you pay us. Here's the point of this video. Don't do that. Don't do that. If they're insistent and they got you emotionally tied into this house that you're going to buy, then you need to be insistent that you do it, that you put the money in escrow through an attorney. Now you got to pay an attorney, but listen, if you're talking $300,000 and you got to drop it in an attorney's escrow account, you're so much more secure than handing $300,000 to a builder who currently is using everybody else's money to run their business because they can't even pay their own bills. Go back a couple months or so ago, I talked about capacity in my business. I had talked about that I'm running out of capacity for my business for next year. And I've had people say, well, just hire somebody else to help you or whatnot. Now, see, here's what I'm going to divulge right now. Okay, the capacity issue is not as much the employees to handle the work. The capacity issue is my own ability to even finance these things. So let me interject and explain that to you. So even though my customers have some form of a construction loan, I've got one, for example, today that the bank is supposed to be putting $160,000 in my account. I've been waiting 2 weeks for that money. You know, there's always some kind of hang up. Oh, they didn't have the right insurance policy to disperse the money, which is the lender's fault. It's not the customer's fault. Or the inspector that they're asking to go out and review the project to sign off on it to funding. Well, he's on vacation. I mean, these things happen all the time. Whatever is the worst scenario happens on 100% of the deals. Just explaining, just telling you that. So when I tell you I can't take on any more projects, it's because I, unlike my competitors, are not going to allow my business to outrun my money to fund the projects while I'm sitting around waiting for the damn banks to catch up to me. Because I'm not going to screw that small business owner who needs that foundation money, or who needs that plumbing money, or who needs that clearing money, or who needs that septic money, who needs that set money, who needs that crane money. Or the factory who needs that money for the house when it's sitting there and ready to be delivered. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to run my business that way. My competitors, not so much. So that's where my capacity issue comes in, really. Because at the end of the day, if I got 10 houses out in the field, I can guarantee you that at any point in time, the banks owe me $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. At any point in time. Easily $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. They owe me. That I've already kicked out. So I bring this up because manage the money like a bank would on your behalf is the lesson of the day. If you're going to get into a building relationship with any builder nowadays, and you're putting either a substantial amount of money down or you're paying cash or whatnot, get an attorney involved, put the money in escrow, and come up with a reasonable process by which the money is released. Do not hand the money to the builder. Today's market is the worst time since 2008 to do that. That's my lesson for the day. And for the builder that's out there who watches these videos, by the way, and is not paying his contractors, shame on you. Shame on you for starting a project that you didn't have the money for. Shame on you. Anyways, have a good day. I really didn't want to do this video, but I did. Talk to you later. Bye.